The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, Minister of Housing and Urban Renewal Keith Bell is here, and while he is scoring major points in his role, it's his actions in immigration that Bahamian people still need further clarification on. Also tonight, I know it's silly season, but listen to this and then tell me what you think about it.
The thought
deal with right now, so to get me in place to be the next prime minister.
Progressive already?
Yes.
You
Hesitated, sir.
Huh?
Hesitated on that.
I was shocked by your question. That's why.
You need to ask me.
No, PLP.
So
Yes.
What do you think you bring to the table?
Well, we have to move and progress. I think there's a lot of things that we have to do, and I mean, I will reveal everything in the next 5 years. Trust me. But it's going to be something that the whole Bahamas, can be proud of. I guarantee you
You'll be
that.
vying for party leadership soon.
Soon.
Let me take a sip. It's tea in here, it's hot too. Because that right there is the stunner for the day. That was North Eleuthera MP Sylvanus Petty saying he will run for office, the office of Prime Minister in 5 years. Now, this is the MP who has stepped out and said he's not seeking re-election. We can get to that. We can get to that in a bit. Later on tonight, Fort Charlotte MP Alfred says he will not seek re-election. We'll talk about that as well. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. Well, Keith Bell is on the move with a number of initiatives that are impacting Bahamian families. The last time officials from his ministry appeared on Beyond the Headlines with a breakdown of just how Bell and his team plan on getting more of you in homes at the levels where you can access and fit in, hundreds and hundreds of you reached out to this show for more information. Well, tonight we have more of that for you, so pull up a chair as you will hear from the minister himself on what's on tap to get more Bahamian families and single parents in homes and apartments and rent-to-own opportunities and more. But it was in 2023 when Bell's cabinet portfolio as Minister of Immigration came under fire. That was when Bell granted citizenships to a family of Haitian nationals during a funeral service. Many of you questioned how and why would the minister break protocol to make this exception? Well, we're going to begin right there this evening. Good evening to you, Minister Bell. It's great to have you join me here on Beyond the Headlines, and thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Shanique. Pleasure to be here.
It's good to have you here. Now, of course, as I mentioned, you're making quite the impression in the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. In fact, some say you have redeemed yourself from the blunder made as Minister of Immigration. And so let's go back to that. It's been about, it's like I said, it's 2023 when this happened, but take us back to that time because people still want further clarification. They want to know, I don't know if it was ever fully explained, what went into the thought behind, you know what, at this funeral service, I'm going to award this family citizenship.
Well, Shani, let me make several points. First of all, I did not grant a family citizenship. Now, I've not gone public to say, and I've heard it out in the media that I've granted a whole family citizenship. But children do not swear or do not take an oath of allegiance. They do not take an oath. It was the wife of the deceased.
So it was one person?
It was just one person. That's the first point. But the more important point to be made is, while the appropriateness of the venue may have been questioned, the legality of the matter has never been questioned. And I would say to the extent that the Honorable Dame Joan Sawyer, in a very, very strong editorial in her letter, she outlined the law on the entire matter. And she pointed out that there was nothing illegal with what I did.
Oh, she actually sort of spoke in your favor and said this?
Absolutely, she did. And she put it in the public's record, and I read it in the House of Assembly, and it's in the Hansard, it's a public record. So, and again, while again the appropriateness of the venue, which happened to be a church, may have been questioned, the legality of it was never in question.
So let's talk about that then. Okay, so the kids were not sworn in, just the wife of the deceased.
Yes.
Why not say, you went and you spoke to this, because obviously it was something that touched you. I remember you saying
Yes.
that back then, that listen, this gentleman was ailing. He was very ill. He reached out to you several times to please ensure that he himself was a
Yes,
citizen
yes.
For decades, I understand. Why not tell his wife at the funeral, come see me in my office on Monday, or come see me at the Ministry of Immigration on Monday?
Well, again, Shanique, I will tell you that this matter has been thoroughly, in my view, being ventilated. And to the extent that I was moved and touched by, here is a man who worked at Superwash. He washed us, pressed us, cleaned us. And he came to me one day when I was at Superwash and asked for us to seek to ensure that his applications were dealt with expeditiously before he died.
Meaning his application for his wife.
His wife and those. And I'll tell you this much, when all of this came to light, what happened at the church, the swearing in, I received a call from the Liaglas themselves about this, because the former minister himself said that while he did not necessarily agree with what may have happened there, and I said the appropriateness of it, where it took place, he thanked me for actually doing what he could not do in his own government when he was a minister in that cabinet. So again, I want to assure the public, the Bahamian, that I believe that I've always acted in the interest of the Bahamian people. And for me, it was one, not so much so looking at the appropriateness of where it was done, but rather the legality. No one can point to anything that I may have done illegally. It was all within the ambit of the law.
Immigration and Bahamian law.
There was no law broken at all.
I know you're obviously trying to dance around, and you want to still honor and respect this family and what may have happened.
Yes.
But I understand that this gentleman contacted you several times, even after your Superwash encounter, to particularly when he knew that, listen, hey, he was ill.
Yes.
To pleading with you to look out for his family.
Yes.
Or his
yes,
wife.
He did. Like I said to me, while I am happy that I was able to grant them citizenship, I was happy that I was able to get their applications through the system, which took a number of years. And again, like I said, there were no laws broken. And that is my solace. I know that I would have acted in the best interest. I know that there are issues of immigration has always been very emotive, and they will continue to be emotive in this country, very emotive in this country. And again, I think that the time will come for us to really begin looking at how we as Bahamians can begin to look at persons who we are granting citizenships to and ensure that we continue to address the system and ensure that it really is tight as best we possibly can.
And that is what I want to ask you there. For Bahamians who feel as though, man, they're giving away our citizenship, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially, you know our issues with Haitians. Let's just be real on the show and put it on the table. You're giving so many Haitian citizenships, and what are you doing? What's happening? How do you respond to that? I mean, given this set of circumstances, I'm not talking about citizenships in general, just with this action.
Well, I'll tell you this, Shanique. One of the things I've done a lot of research on the subject matter of citizenship, and even the process by which it takes. And I've looked at several countries in the world which sought to address this issue. And let me just give you an example. So whereas you have someone who has come to the Bahamas on a work permit, after 20 consecutive work permits, they can apply for permanent residence. After they've attained permanent residence between 2 or more years, on average 5 years, they can then apply for citizenship. Now, what some countries have done is that they have said that let us break that consecutive cycle of work permits. So they allow you to come into their country for a certain period of time, and then you have to leave. And once you break that period of work permits, then it starts all over. So you never get to accumulate the number of requisite years to apply for permanent residence and hence citizenship. That is something that we may wish to look at in the future. And so that is I believe, one of the answers that we may wish to address.
Given the Dame, and who was highly regarded, Dame Joan Sawyer, given what she said, given what the former Minister of Immigration said, do you feel as though you were handled fairly by your colleagues in saying, listen, no, Keith, we hear you, we understand, yeah, you led with your heart, but you're going to be reassigned?
Well, I'll tell you this. The reality is that I serve at the pleasure of the Honorable Prime Minister and the Bahamian people. That's the first thing. The second thing is, when you enter politics, as some of my other advisors have told me, you have to develop very, very thick skin. You have to be able to brave. You have the good, the bad, and you have to know that every day is not going to be a rosy day. And for me, the objects of being a leader are demonstrated not so much so when everything is nice and rosy and you're just riding the wave. It is when you have those rough, treacherous storms that you're able to plow through. And I think that through the grace of God, with my family and friends, and of course with my party, my Progressive Liberal Party, and certainly my leader, who met with me privately and told me that his confidence in me had not been shaken. That is all I needed to hear.
Okay.
And so here I am through God's grace and mercy.
You also had some tough little spots in there as well.
Of course.
Personally, I do remember that.
Yes,
but
yes.
let's just talk about while you were also Minister of Immigration,
Yes.
which was overshadowed.
Yes.
You had a number of historic sort of numbers in
Yes.
terms of repatriations,
Yes.
apprehensions, and
Yes.
all that. Let's just talk about that
Sure.
and that part of how you managed
Sure.
immigration,
Sure. Certainly.
and that made you proud.
Yes. Well, first of all, Shanique, let me tell you, my day starts from 2 a.m. in the morning. I get up, say my prayers, and I start work from there. When I entered immigration, we had a backlog of work permits, permanent residence, and citizenship applications. I would have gone through over 34,000 work permit applications in my time at immigration.
Oh.
I would have rejected more than 20,000 applications for work permits in there. I would have established a base down in Inagua, the first time in the history of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas that a base was established in Inagua. And the point I made is, why would you want in our country, we know that the illegal immigrants or the irregular migrants are coming from Haiti, they're making that voyage upwards in our southern corridor. Why would you want, if you intercept a vessel down there, bring them all the way to New Providence, and only to have to repatriate them and travel straight across our archipelago? So if you intercept them in the south, then let's establish a base in the south.
I'll tell you this,
and let's deal with them there.
That was a good thing on your
Yes,
part here,
yes.
and I'm happy you mentioned it because it slipped over many of our heads.
Yeah.
Here's why. I took a team down to
Yes,
Inagua
yes.
Last year, and it was incredible. It's
Yes.
operating seamlessly.
Yes, yes,
They're doing a really
yes,
awesome
yes,
job
yes,
there
yes.
between the defense force, immigration,
Yes.
like it's a whole setup there
absolutely.
in Inagua, and it's running quite smoothly.
Absolutely, and quite frankly, the base ought to have been set up a long time, and we are hoping under our administration to make it a permanent base in collaboration with the United States of America. And so we're moving in that direction. But in addition to that, Shanique, I would have grown the revenue of immigration to over $100 million.
How's that?
Over $100 million, dealing with the backlog of cases. You have persons who are born in the Bahamas to non-Bahamian parents. You have persons born outside of the Bahamas to a Bahamian and a non-Bahamian. You have persons who are married to non-Bahamians. You have persons who are in the Bahamas. I mean, you have all of these different categories. And you have thousands upon thousands of applications. I think the oldest application that I dealt with was one that was pending for some 38 years. This individual was born in the Bahamas, and having not been able to obtain his citizenship, having made it at the age of 18, he was on work permit, consistent work permits for almost 23 years or more. So he was applying for work permit. He was working until he got his citizenship. And so you have all of these cases. Right now in the country, you have persons who are now at the age of 18. They only know the Bahamas as their home.
Yeah.
And now they are 18, and so they need to now apply for their work permit. And I'm talking about persons who are in our nursing program, persons who are in our police, defense, prison, immigration, all across our enforcement agencies, all across the public service, who are giving quality service to the buildup of this country. But in addition to growing the revenue to over $100 million, in addition to establishing a base down in the detention down in Inagua, I've had the largest number of repatriations in the history of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
So you were on a roll. You were getting
Yes,
things
yes,
done,
yes.
and it was quite like a nice system
Yes.
that was in place.
Yes, of course.
You don't hear much about it now
Yes,
since you left.
of course, no.
But we, obviously that's you. It's now a different person in charge.
Yes,
But
yes.
certainly I'll give you kudos because we went there and it was seamless, a
Yes.
seamless
Thank you
operation.
for that.
But let's just move on though. Let's
Yes.
move on to something you're doing because Bahamians are extremely interested. They're interested in that,
Yes.
and they're happy to hear you explain it. But housing,
Oh, yes.
access to housing,
Yes.
housing shortages,
Yes.
and not just here in New Providence with the rent being what it is, but even the family islands that are
Yes.
now just burgeoning
Yes.
many of the economies. Let us talk about what it is. I remember having one of your officials here some months ago and the response then.
Mm-hmm.
But you've also gone into the Ministry of Housing and Urban Renewal,
Yes.
and you are doing some amazing things.
Yes.
It's almost on a regular basis when I sit in the newsroom and I hear reporters saying what they have done for the day.
Yes.
There's some handed keys being issued. Talk about what that goal is to get as many Bahamians as possible empowered through home ownership.
Absolutely. Well, in our blueprint for change, we set out a very, very clear path for every Bahamian. We don't believe that no Bahamian should be left behind when it comes to home ownership. That's the first thing. The second thing is we put it deliberately in our blueprint because you would note that the former administration set out that they were going to build no homes. They said it in the parliament of our country that they were going to build no homes, and they did precisely that, did nothing. And so the Honorable Prime Minister had to ensure that we adopt a very aggressive policy because we were already behind. We are some 12,000 houses short, Shanique, in this country in terms of the demand.
Yes.
Just this year alone, we have in excess of 2,500 applications for homes.
So it's almost overwhelming.
It is
And I
over-
know
it is-
several, I'll
yes.
tell you, I know even after your official was here,
Yes.
I'm talking the calls we got into the newsroom,
Yes,
the
yes.
calls that personally came to be on the headlines.
Yes.
People are anxious to
Yes,
get into
absolutely,
homes. They want to do better for their families.
Absolutely. And the message I want to say, Shanique, to these people is that this Davis-led administration, I don't want anyone to give up on us or give in. Continue to work towards home ownership, continue to save and govern your finances accordingly. Because we are pursuing homes, we are constructing homes very aggressively through our own mortgage corporation, through our in-house, and of course through public-private partnerships. As a matter of fact, we're not just creating homes here in New Providence, we're also constructing homes in our family islands.
I
And
know
so-
because you did something recently in Eleuthera, for example.
Ocean Hole.
Yes,
And
the
Ocean Hole, and you can see the ocean, man. Idani Eleuthera.
I heard some people in Eleuthera talking.
It's stunning.
It's right on the waterfront.
It's right on the
Really
waterfront.
nice, yeah.
And so we're going to be building in 150 houses out there in Eleuthera. But in New Providence, we have an area called Renaissance at Carmichael, where it's going to be a 300 built-out subdivision. And we have already given homes. And the significance about this is those homes are they're very well built. First of all,
That's good to hear.
They have architectural shingles, 40-year warranty. They have hurricane impact windows,
Oh.
and they have marble countertops.
Oh,
So
wait
when
a
you go
minute.
inside,
This is what the low-cost homes are now looking like?
ain't no such thing as low cost
No,
homes.
no,
They're affordable homes.
we know
This,
that.
this is what it is.
This is affordable
This
homes. This is
affordable
what you're
homes.
doing.
This is what we're doing. So we
You
have
are saying
completely
marble
changed.
tiles, storm windows.
Yes.
Those nice windows.
Absolutely, yes, yes.
So this
and
is-
porticos to the front.
And you know what's awesome then? You are also bringing a level of a pride and
Yes,
quality to the people.
absolutely.
No longer are they having the what once was.
Yes,
And they
yes,
have to
yes.
soon after go and patch up and do
Yes.
it. You
No.
are really giving them something
Precisely.
to cause them to be proud of for their families.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's not only there in Renaissance that we're building homes. We just built some homes in an area called Fire Trail Subdivision, Pride Estates. We're building some homes there. The government just approved for us to build a set of homes in Adastra Gardens, Adastra 2. So right in Papal Track, right after you pass Patelco, we have some acres of properties in there that we're going to be building in excess of 150 homes in there. And then, of course,
And
we're
all
going
at this quality, this standard now.
high quality, resilient homes. We're going to ensure that everyone can be proud. When you drive up there, you can say, this is my home. And in addition to that, we also have Pinecrest. which is behind the East Street South Police Station. So we're building homes across the length and breadth of New Providence, but we're also building the Family Islands, Eleuthera. We're going down to San Salvador. We're now constructing some in
So
Grand
there's a
Bahama.
demand in San Salvador as well?
Absolutely, absolutely. As a matter of fact, let me talk about the rent-own, if I may.
Please talk about the rent-own because people are interested
Yes.
in that as well.
Yes. So you have a lot of persons who may not necessarily have the down payment, or they may have a down payment, but they cannot get a mortgage because they may be their debt, TDSR, total debt service ratio, may be beyond 45%. We're not turning nobody away. We're telling you, come in and make the application. And we have, the FNM said it was a pie in the sky and it couldn't happen. But we're making
But
it.
here you
we're
are
making
doing
it.
it.
We're doing it. We've placed persons in homes down in Abaco. We've placed persons in rent-own homes down in Salinan Pillen
Oh, so the
Estates.
rent-a-home, it's already in motion?
It's rolling out. Oh, yes, absolutely. Persons
Okay.
in these homes. They're in these homes. And so what we're doing is we are taking your application and we are putting it into a rent-to-own home whereby if you have a portion of a down payment or no down payment, we will still put you in a house. And we structure the payments. We are structuring the payments to ensure that it is not beyond your reach.
Okay.
And so, for example, right now you have persons, Shanique, paying $1,400 in areas like Boatswain Hill,
Where's that, by the way?
right off Carmichael Road. All those areas out there, they're paying these-
$1,400
$1,400.
a
In some
month.
areas, they're paying up to
For
$2,000 a
rent.
month.
And these are just in average middle-income areas?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
And in some of these areas, you have persons paying rents of $1,400, $2,000, $1,800 a month for a 3-bed, 2-bath home. And that is far more than the mortgage payment. And so in our rent-to-own, we are now lowering the payments and we're putting people in these homes.
Well, that's really good. I'm
Yes.
telling you that based on the response, the reason I'm even just sort of expanding on this and having the minister speak to it, because I know how many of you are interested. Many people reached out to me personally,
Yes.
and I had to reach out to one of your officials and say, listen,
Yes.
please, the people are interested. Either you come back or you've got to do something
Sure.
to hear as many of them
Absolutely.
as possible.
Yes.
But listen, we are just getting started this evening. I want to hear about urban renewal. I understand. And in fact, again, you
Yes.
know, we discuss a whole lot in media. Apparently, in urban renewal, you're also helping things to happen for many people whose homes need renovations
Yes,
and the
yes,
rest of
yes,
it. And
yes.
then, what's for Grand Bahama? You know, Grand
yes.
Bahama, that economy is really beginning to take off.
Yes.
Is there a plan for homes and the availability of homes in Grand Bahama? And then, I want to know how you're performing as a member of parliament. All of this is good, but what is he doing in Carmichael? Beyond the Headlines is back right after this.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Call now to get more of the care you need.
Celebrate the incredible women in your life this Mother's Day, and don't forget the special offer from Cornet Bahamas. From April 16th to May 16th, enjoy a fantastic 35% off store-wide. That's right, everything you need to show your love and appreciation is on sale. Whether it's a heartfelt gift for mom, a treat for yourself, or something special for that amazing woman in your life, we've got you covered. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Visit any one of our stores today. Make this Mother's Day unforgettable with Cornet Bahamas.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
7.5 years, but I walk in here all of a sudden, total stranger. I'm calling you Rick and Sheila.
I win at Island Lock. We take sports seriously. Get ready to experience the thrill of winning anytime and any place. Bet in real time and live the thrill of every play while watching your winnings stack up. It's your chance to score big with fast payouts and a world-class experience. Get in the game and bet the Bahamian way with Island Luck Sportsbook.
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
This segment of Beyond the Headlines is brought to you by EV Motors. Drive the future with brand new 2024 electric vehicles. EV Motors, powering your journey.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you continue join us this evening. We're speaking with Housing and Urban Renewal Minister Keith Bell. Of course, we started with his immigration portfolio, but now we're talking about where some stuff's really happening. You have all been seeing the headlines and the news stories and even what's in the papers about the number of Bahamian families who now are accessing, whether it's rent-to-own, whether it's new homes. And then I was surprised to hear of how the quality now of these homes. Before, low-cost homes, which they have now changed to affordable housing, but low-cost homes, we know what those were. You had to quickly make repairs soon after moving in. Well, these ones sound a whole lot better with a whole lot more that you are getting in terms of amenities and just the quality and the standard of what you're walking into your home with. Let's talk about Minister Bell. Let's talk about urban renewal.
Yes.
I'll tell you this. You're obviously making great inroads there as well,
yes.
Because I'm hearing people talk about, listen, for the longest while, they needed repairs here, they needed repairs there, because I know that is a major thrust of urban renewal,
yes.
to reach those who in their homes,
yes.
but just need that help that they can't afford themselves.
Yes, absolutely. Well, you know, Shanique, the reality is that there were homes that we discovered when we came back into office that had Hurricane Matthew damage.
Oh.
Still outstanding.
Yeah.
And of course, Dorian, of course, right behind. And of course, even from fair wear and tear over the years. And you have persons who, retired teachers, persons who would have given so much to this country, whose homes need to be repaired. We've spent in excess of $7.5 million this period on home repairs. As a matter of fact, the Davis administration has we wanted to put a cap of $10,000 per home, but we have raised that to $15,000.
Just because of the needs that's out
Because of
there.
the needs, absolutely. When you go into a home and you get in there and you see the roof is being leaking for a period of time and you get in there, the electrical is being damaged, the sheetrock is being damaged. So you have to do a whole lot more repairs. And so we have gone into a number of homes, not just in the province, but throughout our family islands. And we've been repairing. And we've been in restoring
So urban
dignity.
renewal is active as well in the family islands, because I've been hearing about New Providence.
Absolutely. We have 13 centers throughout the family islands, and we're continuing to expand it. And we have a roving team, which goes into those areas where we don't have an urban renewal.
How about Grand Bahama, where before I even ask you about Grand Bahama in terms of what's planned, because I know so many people are now going back, I'm sure very soon there'll be a shortage.
Yes.
But how about the damage from Matthew and Dorian, that people, I understand, still had tarps on their roofs and all that?
Yes, we have been addressing that systematically and comprehensively. You know, you can never do enough, but you try to do as much as you possibly can for as long as you can, for as many persons that you can. And I'm very pleased with the progress that we are making. We know we have a budget that's coming up, and I'm very happy with the Honorable Minister of Finance, who has indicated that there's going to be some significant injection in both housing and urban renewal.
Oh, so you're going to be doing a ton.
So we're going to amplify it.
Even more, yeah.
We're going to be doing it even more. But even in Grand Bahama, there's an area, as you know, it's called Garden Villas. We call it the ghetto.
Okay.
We're looking to completely revitalize and transform that area.
You're going to go into the ghetto of Grand Bahama and
Shanique,
give it a whole facelift?
A complete facelift, and I want you to be there to see that.
Oh, that's going to be interesting.
Yes.
Because we know, first of all, Grand Bahama has always been just a level above.
Yes.
And I was surprised to know they had ghettos, but
Yes.
I learned that recently when I went there. Because the place has a reputation, you know? But with everything that's happening, a major announcement is happening tomorrow, we know that.
Yes.
But with everything that's taking shape in Grand Bahama, and the economy has turned, I've interviewed several people over the last several weeks who said, listen, Shanique, people are coming back home.
That's right. Yes,
people,
they are.
Grand Bahama is beginning to move again.
Absolutely.
What's planned there for housing besides totally revamping the ghetto of Grand Bahama?
Well, let me
What
tell
else?
you, in addition to what we're doing now as the Ministry of Housing and Urban Renewal in Grand Bahama, we are building homes in Grand Bahama. We are acquiring properties in an area called Heritage Subdivision, which is the preferred area to live. We have property in an area called Wellington Pinder Subdivision. We have 100 acres in there. We also have an area called West End Subdivision that we have properties in there that we're going to be constructing on. But I don't want to preempt what is going to be announced tomorrow for Grand Bahama by the Honorable Prime Minister. I am extremely excited.
Yes.
So we're sending a whole team from Housing and Urban Renewal down there tomorrow to witness and begin planning immediately.
So this announcement tomorrow, we're trying to just get a little more information. This announcement tomorrow is really going to be wide in scope.
All embracing.
Of what's planned for
All
Grand
embracing
Bahama.
for the entire Grand Bahama. It's going to take off, and I'm very, very confident. I'm very, very pleased with the progress that we're going to be making and the announcements that's coming tomorrow.
Well, that
You're going to
sounds-
be happy too.
Well, let me tell you, Grand Bahamians are happy.
Oh, yes.
I have done some work, and I've had them on the show
Yes.
from time to time. But just this week,
Yes.
when I tell you that
Yes,
they are,
yes.
and I've been
Absolutely.
speaking to others,
Absolutely.
they are so happy and
Yes,
excited
yes,
to see
yes,
their island
yes.
after so many decades
Yes.
finally now have promise
Neglected.
and things happening.
Yes,
you know?
absolutely. So you're
Let's
gonna see a
just-
lot there.
So listen, okay, fine. He looks like you're doing a good job as a minister, right? A good job. How are you performing in the constituency of Carmichael now? I'll start off by saying I have heard, and I've heard this from a couple of years ago, that almost immediately you began sort of this Healthy Carmichael initiative.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about
Yes,
that. What
yes,
does that involve?
Yes. So during the election of 2021, we started what we call a fruit and vegetable market, where we provided free, healthy food, vegetables, and fruits for the entire citizenry of Carmichael. But it caught on so fast that we had persons coming from as far as Yamacraw.
Oh, wait a minute.
And they still come as far.
Yes,
oh,
yes,
yeah.
yes. Other
Being
people
down.
coming.
Everybody comes down to our free food and vegetable market.
Oh, so what is it, like a farmer's market
It's
type
a farmer's
setup?
market setup,
Okay,
and
okay.
everything is free. You just come in, and we just give you the fresh
So what
fruits
do you
and
have? You have a
vegetables.
farm somewhere, or you just bring it in from other farms? What do you
Well, it's a little secret.
Okay, well,
It's a little secret.
Yes.
So I don't want to say too much yet, but we're hoping to amplify that in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture. But it has been very, very useful. It has been very impactful. But for us, it really goes back down to, it ties into our NHI, our National Health
Yes.
Insurance, our scheme,
It's important.
to ensure that we develop healthy lifestyles and healthy living. And we know that when you go to the food store, many people can't afford to buy fruits and vegetables,
No.
these quality broccoli and the carrots and,
all of those
the
things
bananas.
that are good for us. No,
And
and
that
it's,
is-
it's hugely important,
absolutely.
you know. I mean, even when you hear Dr. Sands, for example, say about, I think, 2026, to see 26,000 people, and I imagine perhaps lifestyle-related issues.
Yes, yes.
It's good to see that you are saying,
Yes.
Carmichael, wait a
Yes,
minute,
yes.
hi, let's come together, let's
Absolutely.
get healthy, let's be
Yes,
intentional about
yes,
what we're eating,
yes, yes.
and let's be a healthy area.
Absolutely. And so in addition to the fruit and vegetable market, we also, I believe that Carmichael has become the cleanest constituency in the entire Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And certainly the Bahamas.
You put it out there to
We've cleaned it up.
I have to ask the
Now,
Hot Topics
now
panel.
we had some serious wind and rain and everything yesterday.
yes,
So
yes.
some trees,
So
there's
some
some
things
debris.
may be- yes.
But they're going to be cleaned up again. But we have
For you
kept,
to have cleaned up Carmichael.
Yes.
Carmichael was, while it was, I don't know if it still is the fastest growing area.
It
Perhaps
is,
it still
it
is.
is,
Okay.
it is,
But
yes.
it was
Yes,
quite an eyesore
yes.
here and there.
Yes,
You
yes.
are saying that you've changed the look and feel of Carmichael?
Absolutely. We've moved over 400 derelict vehicles from there. We've cleaned up the overgrown and derelict properties. And we're working with owners, those who may wish to sell their properties, to try and purchase them for them and put people in homes as well.
okay.
As a matter of fact, one of the newest housing subdivision is coming to Carmichael.
Oh.
Yes, off Vispin Road and off St. Vincent Road. So it's going to be a nice middle class
Yes.
area with affordable houses for Bahamians.
Yeah.
And that we have already cleared the land, and we are now moving to construct homes within the next month or so.
That is amazing, what you're doing. Because we hear on this show, we also talk about the performance
Yes.
of members of parliament,
Yes.
particularly,
Yes.
And you are offering yourself.
Yes,
You are
yes.
seeking re-election.
If the Prime Minister and the government will have me, absolutely.
You are seeking re-election.
Yes, yes, I
well,
am.
certainly, I mean, your report card, I'll ask the Hot Topics panel. I mean, they're sitting, listening, like, what grade would you give Keith Bell? But it really sounds as though you've taken the bull by the horns. You did not slack up on Carmichael.
No.
From the time of being elected, You've done several things,
Yes.
and you continue
Yes.
to do more.
Yes, we continue to do more. And I will tell you this, we are doing a whole lot more in Carmichael. But I'm a person who knows that Bahamians have plenty pride. And when you're helping someone, you don't necessarily need to showcase it out to the world on TikTok or on social media. Because the persons who you are helping, you're doing it out of the goodness of your heart. You're doing it out of the goodness of your heart. And my mother always tells me that never mind man saying things sometimes, it's God that sees the heart. And so when we do things, I've always told my team, try and be as private and discreet and respectful to the individual that you're giving groceries to, that you're helping to clean.
You give groceries as well?
Everything. We've dealt with medical, and I think all of our members of parliament have done it. We've dealt with medical issues. We've dealt with burial assistance. We're averaging 7 deaths a week in Carmichael. And we know that families are stretched. We have a very large concentration of children who are autistic in our constituency. And these mothers are struggling with these kids. So we know that we have to reach out and help them. And so we do it through food vouchers. We do it through our vegetable market. We have employed over 350 young persons have been employed in Carmichael throughout our law enforcement agencies, throughout the public service, at Sandals, Atlantis, and Bahama. We've done all of these things to ensure that Carmichael residents are not disadvantaged. We want to ensure, and we don't have the goodness of our heart. And so I will tell Carmichael, I thank you for your support. I want to ensure that we continue to work together, and I ask you to vote for me in the upcoming election.
I was about to say, make your fine. You kind of sort of did, but if you just 1 minute to perhaps let Carmichael see the wisdom in re-electing you in 2026.
Well, Carmichael, you will see from everything that we have done in the community, we've worked very well together. There's cohesion. We have cleared our community, we have given jobs, we have built, we have worked at our school, Gerald Cash Primary School, and we have ensured that every time there's something happening in our country, Carmichael is a part of it. We are one of the forerunners, and I want to thank you, Carmichael. I love you, and of course, let's continue to work together.
Not every MP speaks loudly and puts it out there, because it's good that you came here this evening and shared this, because Carmichael is not one of the areas I frequent, and so therefore you don't know much about an area that you don't frequent. So it's good to hear what you. Now I have heard about your fruits and vegetables and your healthy initiative. I heard about 1 or 2 things. I just didn't know about all the stuff that you're doing as a member of parliament. So thank you for stopping by. Thank you for talking about your ministerial portfolio. I know several people since the last time who, with your officials being here, who say, Shanique, I want to get into my own home with my family. Married couples, singles, they just want an opportunity to own, have access to home ownership. And so continue the great work. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you could come back again.
Yes, I will.
And let's share some more of what you're doing. Oh, absolutely. We'd love to. Listen, thank you so much, Urban and Housing Minister Keith Bell, of course, Carmichael Member of Parliament as well. Thank you so much for being here this evening. When we come back, remember when I said I'm going to ask them to grade them? I'll ask them. I'll see what they're saying. Maybe they frequent Carmichael. What are they seeing? We're going to have some hot topics after the break. Stay close.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting tingsybahamas.com.
My name is Omar Ferguson. I've been disabled now from 2009. What inspired me to start my own business? It was the determination to know that I still had something left in me, even though a lot of my independence, my mobility was being restricted. In my disability, it's kind of hard finding the investors or the capital. For example, national insurance. The benefit that we receive, it's a lifeline. And in any business that you're going to take, it's going to be a risk. We're not looking for handouts, but we want you to understand that we still need a little special care. This literally gives us a backbone that, hey, we could actually stand someday. This is the business I know it's going to be a risk. Even going through that process, I'm still dependent on national insurance. Overall, being in the program itself, it's put me in a place where I feel young again. I feel like anything is possible. I would say to others, with disabilities. Look around your community, just like you guys said in one of the modules. See what is needed in your community and go for it. Don't be afraid, just go for it.
For more information about how the SBDC can help your small business to make a big impact, give us a call at 461-7232 or visit sbdcbahamas.com.
Need a new car for your business? Well, EV Motors and the Bahamas Development Bank have some news for you.
At the Bahamas Development Bank, we are committed to promoting Bahamian businesses and entrepreneurs. With our green lending program, businesses are able to access up to 100% financing to purchase electric vehicles for commercial and fleet use. We are so excited to partner with EV Motors for this initiative to encourage and empower business owners to drive green.
If you haven't visited our dealership on Tonic Williams Starling Highway as yet, we have a wide variety of brand new EVs from some of your favorite brands like Toyota, BYD, and Mercedes-Benz. As the official distributor of Kerry Commercial Vehicles, we offer a selection of high-performance commercial EVs. Currently, you can purchase the Kerry Cargo Van and the Kerry Elephant Truck, and soon, flatbeds and box trucks for all your business needs.
To access up to 100% financing to purchase an EV for your business, you will need to provide us with a few documents: the business plan or executive summary, business license, historical financials, relevant KYC documents, and the vehicle and insurance quote.
With an interest rate of 6.75% and a repayment period of up to 8 years, you don't want to miss this fantastic opportunity.
To apply, visit our website today at bahamasdevelopmentbank.com or give us a call at 702-5700.
So you want a space, but not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you join us. Of course, if you were in for the first two segments, you saw we had Housing and Urban Renewal Minister Keith Bell here, and boy, did we address some stuff and get some stuff out the way. But also, many of you are always interested in housing, rent to own, all that stuff. So I hope you were paying attention to be able to get in. And so that's really good. But we're going to get in right now into some hot topics. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines are my contributors, Leslie Miller and Garth Rosborough. Gentlemen, good evening to both of you.
Good evening to you. Good evening, Bahamas.
Good evening, everyone.
I want to jump right in quickly because we have several things. Because I don't know if you all saw Leroy Major's stunt in House of Assembly today. We'll get to that in a minute. But let's just start with Keith Bell sort of straightening out that whole immigration debacle in 2023. Do you think it was necessary for him to come and really speak about what took place and why?
Absolutely, absolutely. Everyone in this country knows that when it comes to politics, and especially governance, one of the dangers of politics is our whole challenge with the immigration situation. It actually affects us globally, as most countries around the world, they tend to look in and see what does it mean to live in paradise. And one of the things that have plagued us is the immigration crisis, especially from kindred folk coming from the South. I think Minister Bell had brought a lot of rage to the entire Bahamian community. There was a particular political party that actually just simply thrived on the idea that some misappropriations and some situations were not meritorious before the Bahamian people. And the fact that I was able to actually sit here and listen to that interview, to me it was mind-boggling as to the way he handled it. I think there's much merit to it. I am not being biased, Shanique Miller, but I was totally impressed. I think there's some genuine spirit to it. I must admit to you that Minister Bell is my neighbor, and that as he spoke, I told myself I do not want to seem as if I'm biased to him. I would be ready to challenge him if he was wrong. But listening to him, his demeanor, his calm voice, I said, you know what? I know Minister Bell. Like I said, he is my neighbor. I felt the genuine spirit. He is a person that's invited me to his home on many of occasions. I've not yet gone as yet, even though we're that close. I walk my dog past his house. But I know that he is a very genuine spirit. And I just want to say, you know, well done, sir. And I still continue to give him my sympathies and condolences for the loss of his wife, who also was a very generous person, as he is as well.
You know, people underestimate Honorable Minister Keith Bell. First of all, he's a brilliant attorney, came from a wonderful background. His mother, Pat, who I've known as a sister all of my life, growing up through Mason District, McCullough Corner. You know, when you speak the truth sometime and you try to assist people, politics get in the way and they have a way of twisting it and making you the villain instead of the type of person you are trying to help someone. Unfortunately, the man that he did have passed right after that. And he was only doing the right thing on behalf of someone who's been in this country for over 40 years and has done well. In fact, I understand he used to work, he had other members of the Free National Movement, senior members, who asked him
He said that.
to assist the man.
Yeah, the
One
gentleman.
that all of us know.
The gentleman worked at Superwash, and so Bell said that the owners of Superwash even asked him, "Can you please assist this man?"
Okay, because he's worked for them so many years, and yet they twist it and try to make you a bad guy. But such is life, you know. And the loss of his life is his wife. His wife is, you know, still heavy on his heart.
Beautiful lady.
And people don't understand what you go through in this life. You know, they just attack. So I was very proud that he was able to get the situation out to the public and give you the facts that it really happened, instead of people making up innuendos on decent people.
Now, gentlemen, we will
thank God for him as a minister.
We will zero in on Bell and many others, of course, and as we head towards election. So I will skip over. We know the job he is doing. We've heard it. We see the headlines almost weekly in housing and urban renewal. We see that, and he went into detail about that. But let's look at Bell as an MP. First of all, has Carmichael truly been cleaned up as he claims? I don't frequent the area, so I cannot say. You both can speak on that and perhaps grade him as an MP.
I was actually there when he was first elected. As you may remember, I too was running in Carmichael in 2011 into 2012. One of the generals of Minister Bell is also a very dear friend of mine. And he said to me, you know, Roseboro, we're going to take the initiative to clean up Carmichael. I was actually there. I saw it myself, where they had trucks. I mean, it was just filled with debris, fallen down trees, all during the hurricane crisis and situations. These things that were left behind, they took the initiative to clean up Carmichael. And
so stuff that's been hanging around for years.
For years. It's just the way we are. Sometimes as Bahamians, we have a lot of debris in our front yards. Old derelict cars, refrigerators, stoves, trees that are falling down due to termite damage, etc. They took the time to clean these up. They were actually pruning trees. And I don't know, Mr. Miller, I know you're in studio. I don't know if you remember Mr. Ezra Thompson.
Very well.
You know, the Bond. I actually was there when they were cleaning up around his street area. And so I commend them for the hard work that was done. As a matter of fact, many of those people were volunteering to assist the minister at that particular time. And so once again, kudos.
Yeah, I mean, he has done a wonderful job in cleaning up all the vacant lots in his constituency. But what he did, where he did the most work, was really the refurbishing of the park, a wonderful park that he has all of his activities on. He's the type of MP that people appreciate, those who you can get to. You can see him anytime. He's a hands-on man. And he's providing now these new amenities and housing, rent to own. You know, and he appreciates the fact that the greatest problem in our country right now is the lack of affordable homes for Bahamians. If I took the pleasure of going down Carmichael to the new housing subdivision. There's no subdivision in this country that is better designed and the homes are as good as any I've seen.
Well, listen, Leslie, I heard, first of all, he calls, I'm not in construction, I don't understand many of the terms, but I'll tell
And
you
for
this.
$200,000 a home.
He said there are,
3-bedroom,
these
2-bathroom.
ones are now marble tiles.
Yep.
Marble
and
countertops.
marble countertops, and the
Hurricane impact
windows.
windows.
So people now have those, because they also add a style to the home,
And all
besides
those are
being
fenced
safe.
in too.
Or
Fence and grass.
They're fenced in.
Fence and grass.
No, it's a marvel what he's doing, and I
Fence
just
and grass.
I like I said, we do our best to be fair. The type of mindset he has, it kind of also reminds me of your good friend Desmond Bannister, who brought some very novel ideas to Carmichael. And Desmond is a free national movement individual. What I'm saying here tonight, Shanique Miller,
he did well as well,
is that Carmichael has a standard of representation. And Desmond Bannister kept that standard.
Why is it that
and Minister
Keith
Bell is
Bell.
now continuing
Keith
that
Bell has
standard
picked it up
and
and
taking
carrying
it to
on.
new heights.
Yeah.
If you look at the Carmichael area, Shanique Miller, there are one or two women that are contesting that particular area. Carmichael is, for the most part, traditional. It is actually flopped back and forth. And if you recall, we had Minister Bell. He had Minister Desmond Bannister before him. Before him, we had Dr. Danny Johnson. And then before him was Desmond Bannister, and before that was John Kerry. And then I think we remember us back as Boozy Roll. So for these women who are looking to go into Carmichael, I'm just going to say this to you. There is a very high standard and expectation in Carmichael. It's not easy work, but you have to be able to meet the mark. And I must be honest with you. Minister Bell is meeting that mark. He has a lot of initiatives in that country. As a matter of fact, I said he's my neighbor. If you go by his home, guess what, Shanique Miller? He has a fleet of cars just for his constituency in Carmichael to take care of Carmichael. Fleet.
To do what with? What does he do with those?
I guess his team is on the ground. Like he said, he has the fresh vegetable market going on. So they are actually touching lives in the Carmichael area. I think it would be
people
good.
Who can't get out.
Yeah, it'll be good to just, once again, probably have him on again, just to ask him about those cars and what they're doing. Because I've never seen a member of parliament have so many cars in their constituency office parked or at home.
For the constituency.
For the constituency.
Okay, gentlemen, I'm going to move forward quickly with grade. What grade is he getting? And we're going to revisit him again, as we will do everybody else, because we can break all this down.
Well, when he had the immigration situation, I was saying, oh my God, I was giving between a C and a D. But now that he's cleared up everything, I got to give the young man an A. I have to give him an A for representation.
Likewise, myself.
Gentlemen, well, speaking of grades, Sylvanus Petty. Sylvanus Petty says, of course, you all know, he said he will not seek re-election. He stepped out of the race. No one for the Progressive Liberal Party has been appointed to run in that constituency as yet. However, it's what he said earlier today, and I don't know if Justin has it. Maybe we don't even have time to get to it, so let's just talk about it. I had it at the top of the show. Sylvanus Petty of North Eleuthera says that, listen, in 5 years, he's going to be back on the scene, and he's going to run for Prime Minister. Your thoughts, gentlemen? What's happening?
When I heard that, I thought a UFO landed in the Bahamas and did something to our good friend. I say, my God. I was trying to figure what. I know they had some stressful situations in North Eleuthera. I mean,
stressful where?
You had water
North
issues.
Eleuthera's economy, besides the utilities, they have the best performing economy
but this is what we're
in the
talking
nation.
About.
Really.
I sat with you, Shanique Miller, when we talked about these utility issues and the fire. Remember the fire when they had some fire raging? Yeah, but you said he was an on-the-ground, hands-on member
Listen
of
to
Parliament.
me. This man is a great member of Parliament.
Yes.
Why he stepped out of the race, only he would know that.
He said there's
but
some
to
mental
come now
situations.
today and talk foolishness.
Yeah, he said there's some mental situations that he had to deal with for now, but as soon as he's clear, he's now telling us he's going to be back in 5 years and be the next. He didn't say a future prime minister.
What did he say?
He said the next prime minister. The next prime minister would be no prime ministership for Chester Cooper, no prime ministership for people like Fred Mitchell, no prime ministership for people like Jobeth Colby Davis, no prime ministership.
Pierre Glover,
yeah, for Pierre Glover.
Whomever.
Yeah, no prime ministership for you. He's going to be able to step out like Michael Jordan, go play baseball, fail at baseball, and come back and say, you know what?
Come back.
I'm back. I'm going to win a championship.
Go ahead. So go to the front of the line.
Hey, if Jesus is with you, who could be against you, my brother? Do your thing.
No, man. I spent much of my time on Sunday watching The Twilight Zone. with Rod Serling. Maybe the brother might have seen those. Some of those
It's okay, you know.
that
You
I
can't
saw.
do
But
it
I
like
like
joking.
him.
I think he only joking. I think he only saying
He
that.
did a wonderful job as a member of parliament.
He did a great job.
And why should a young man who did what he did to try to assist the residents of his constituency with the water, with the light, with the road, why should he not aspire to be the top man?
Yeah, but Leslie, stop. Leslie, make it make sense.
You
Now
can
stop
be the
it.
top
You
man.
should know better,
No, I'm
Leslie.
saying, but why should he not aspire?
But how are you taking a break
And then come
then
back
you're going to
and
come
be
back and
voted
do
in.
all that
No,
at
he
once?
said the next.
Even me
He
know
said the
better.
next 5 years.
He said, yes,
the
he
prime
said-
minister's going to serve 2 terms.
He's over 2031.
Yeah, so 2 terms. So after that is open.
Leslie,
Yeah,
if
but
this
he'll
man is
just be
stepping
returning.
out of the race, how he can get back in and do all that?
How he can do that?
Anyway, let's move forward. Is the Coalition of Independents looking to grab another MP, and this time from the PLP?
Trap seat.
Listen.
You trap seat.
Listen, the PLP a little nervous tonight. The PLP a little nervous tonight because apparently in the House of Parliament today, Leroy Major, the MP for Southern Shores, seconded a bill by Iram Lewis, a COI member of Parliament. How you all interpret that?
Well, politics strange pair of fellows. I mean, politicians, that's who they are. But Leroy Major, he has to already know that his renomination for Southern Shores is in jeopardy. He has to know that, I may be on my way out. And there's something about politics that just simply says, I was born to be prime minister. I was born to be a great politician and leader in my country. And I need 2 terms in order to get that little pension, that little thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe that's what he's running after.
He has no grandiose ideas of being re-elected, regardless of where he goes.
If you threaten to take away my nomination, I will join the COI too. I would join it just to simply try. At least I got to try. I may fail, but I got to try.
What kind of member of Parliament has Leroy Major been?
Kind of strange, especially for a man of God. Very, very strange. I know he was the chairman of BAIC. Yep. We've heard of a little speculation about coal industry, where he had a whole industry going on in terms of export of coal from that Carmichael Road area, that Cowpen Road area, back to Haiti. We heard about that coal coming out his back door in his backyard. We heard about these things.
Really?
And then, I got to be honest, I heard about a little misbehavior, I would say, in the community itself. I know 1 or 2 people who have told me some misbehavior has taken place. He'll have to answer to God.
So Leroy Major
for that.
is no big coup for anybody, is what you're
He
saying.
is an ordinary, regular Bahamian man. I can't take it from him. He's a good Bahamian man, but politics, you just ain't fitting the bill.
But he's made no impression in this term.
Well, this is what I'm saying.
You barely know he existed. Leslie,
they
Leroy
know,
Major is
they know
Leroy
he existed.
Major.
They know he existed in Cowpen Road and that area.
No, they know because they were tired of him. But Leslie, your thoughts about Leroy Major?
He is the pastor of the church.
He's what?
Pilgrim Baptist. Pilgrim
run,
Baptist. Pilgrim Baptist.
Oh, he's a pastor?
Yes, he took over
Fraser
from
used to
Fraser.
run. The fellow went to jail for 3 years.
Stay focused.
I'm just alluding to what this gentleman here said.
Yeah, they got one little spirit in that church. They just do little things.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they can be all right. God is good.
Allegedly, reportedly.
Allegedly. But I know one person. I got evidence. I got my people. I
His
know.
performance haven't been stellar as a member of parliament. Lot need to be seen between now and then for him to have a renomination for that constituency.
It ain't gonna happen.
And you say it's not going to happen?
No, they're going to renominate him.
Why?
Because they know they can't win with him. There's no way you're going to win with him based on the community itself.
Listen to
I
me.
don't see it.
My youth panel was here, one of whom lives in his constituency and is related, and says that he's far from being impressive. He is not impressed.
One of my biggest supporters, Shanique Miller, and Mr. Leslie Miller, let me tell you something. One of his biggest supporters, one of the party's biggest supporters, who is my political father. I'm just going to say, I'm not going to call any name.
Yes.
He said to me before he votes for Leroy Major and supports him, he'll vote COI. I leave that right there with you.
Well, if Leroy Major goes to the COI.
Yeah.
Oh, Shanique Miller, you are something else.
So, sir, it seems like you may have. Listen,
that's why he's second the bill.
Lincoln those ain't taking on no weight. Lincoln ain't stupid.
There may be some mischief abroad. I don't know.
Lincoln
I can go and
ain't
find out.
stupid. Lincoln those ain't taking on no weight.
I believe he forgot that he was elected on the PLP ticket. And if he wants to cross the floor, then so be it.
But he is a nice
God bless
gentleman.
him.
But you know, like I say, nice guys in politics, you got to do your job. You just got to do your job, Shanique Miller. That's what it's really all about.
You got to do your job.
And I think Keith
Nobody
Bell-
care about you being nice. You see what Keith Bell did here
Doing his
today?
job.
He talked about not just his ministerial portfolio,
Yes.
but as a member of parliament. Who could argue with that?
Yep.
Who could argue with what
Should-
it is that he rolled out here this evening and didn't stammer? Leroy Major, come sit down right here and talk. Come and talk and
And
let's
Shanique,
talk. Let's
just
talk
give a
about what
quick
you
plug
did.
here. You know, before his wife passed, she used to actually give away food and stuff in the Adelaide village where they live. I think they were just a commendable couple. They were
yeah,
community-minded
very
people.
commendable.
And from Adelaide straight to Carmichael,
Wonderful
Keith
human
Bell
being.
has actually made his presence felt.
Wonderful human.
Well, there it is. And listen, we don't discuss nothing
That's
ahead of
a
the show.
contrast to the fellow who
Which fella?
seconded the bill, eh?
You mean Leroy Major?
Yeah.
Man, call my youth panel.
No, you're
Let
talking
them
about Sylvanus.
Call my
Oh,
youth.
Leroy Major,
So,
yeah.
yeah, Sylvanus Petty, but you went easy and said, so, by the way, I like the gentleman. I remember.
Yeah, that's your homeboy.
This show, Eleuthera, I like
Petty's a good guy.
my Eleuthera people. He has worked hard because this show went Eleuthera a few times to see what he was doing, especially as it
Yeah.
relates to the utilities. Hard working. Sir, let me tell you what you don't do. When you're ahead, you're bowing out gracefully. You don't bring unnecessary attention.
But the
It's
UFO,
just
all
not-
that fire in Lustra, Shanique, that was the UFO. I'm telling you, they got him.
A
You saw the
UFO.
The
UFO.
UFO, yeah, he saw it because he definitely
That's
been in
what
that.
it is. Yeah, UFO. I knew it was something. I knew it was something because that ain't the person talking. Yeah,
No, we,
UFO.
that ain't the person we
And
know.
of course, most of the UFOs come from the Twilight Zone, eh?
It all worked out.
Let's think-
It all worked out today. I thank you very much.
it out.
Of course, at the top of tonight's show, Housing and Urban Renewal Minister Keith Bell.
Wonderful job.
Of course, Member of Parliament for Carmichael. And then in this segment, my contributors, Leslie Miller and Garth Rosborough. Gentlemen, thank you to you as well.
Pleasure
Thank
to
all
be
of you
here.
this evening for tuning in. Certainly enjoyed having you along. And I look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening because I want to hear from Grand Bahamians how they feel about this major announcement that nobody wants to tell the details
Yep.
of. But the fact is, stay tuned. So we're going to stay tuned as well, right? It's a deal. Until tomorrow, this is Shanique Miller. I will see you then. And on behalf of my team, have a great evening.